All right, we're back for round 3 of the 6-round vintage challenge today. We're currently 1-1, so still in a pretty good spot. And I'm going to keep this hand. It's pretty close to a kill. We have a cantrip to kind of smooth things out. Depends a lot on what we're playing against. Looks like it's the mirror. That's good. Well, not good. It's cool to see people playing this deck, though. I wonder if they're following my list. If they are, we have to worry about Sadistic Sacrament post board, but there's not a ton we can do about that. We could board an empty and Blightsteel, but that seems a little loose to me. They're going to take that card, which seems reasonable to me. I'll go ahead and fetch out an Underground Sea, because I think it's unlikely I get Wastelanded from this deck. And having triple black can be important for casting Necropotence if we draw it. And I'll bottom both of these magic cards, so... Unfortunately, top 4 cards of our deck were a land, so we're in a pretty bad position right now. But you put lands in your deck to draw them, so we'll see. Could always just draw Black Lotus, and then we would be doing pretty well. Not winning, but doing pretty well. Another reason to, I guess we didn't have the basic in our hand yet, but one thing is, it's good to fetch if you can, because you have the Cabal Ritual in your deck, so you really want to hit Threshold. Maybe they were considering casting Defense Grid. I'm not sure. Alright, so if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, Demonic Tutor for Black Lotus, and then Dark Petition for Yawgmoth's Will, this should be a kill. So I guess drawing Black Lotus would have been a win. I just don't know what I was saying. Cool. Well, that seems like a fine thing for me to do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 5, down to 0, but then up to 3, up to 5, up to 7. Yeah. Well, if our opponent is for some reason playing a counterspell deck, which I don't expect, then we will lose. But I think it's much more likely we're playing the mirror, because the mirror is the main deck that plays, what do you call it? Black Lotus. Sorry, Duress. We're tutoring for Black Lotus. It's hard to tutor for things and talk about other cards at the same time. But so this is a good way of looking at extra tutors, is if you have Lotus in your deck, or a Threshold, a Cabal Ritual, or Lions of Diamond if you can use the mana from that, you can think of every tutor as being +1 mana. So we'll get cast Dark Petition here, and then it'll resolve with Spell Mastery. Get Yawgmoth's Will. And then we get to cast this. We don't have any mana floating, but we do have Black Lotus in our graveyard, which is the benefit of Yawgmoth's Will over Past in Flames. Besides costing 1 less mana, it also is much better like this. So we'll do Dark Ritual. I think we can cast Dark Petition here. To 3, up to 5, yeah. I'm gonna go and find Duress. And then we can Duress our opponent. They are playing the mirror. Okay. Well, I'm gonna take, it doesn't matter. I'll take Bolas' Citadel, cast Dark Ritual, cast Tendrils of Agony, all copies targeting you, Storm Trigger, etc., etc. And on to game 2. So, looks like they are playing my list, maybe. Well, we'll see. So I like this card in the mirror. Definitely not boarding this out. I also like Pyroblast, pretty good amount. This definitely is in the mirror for this matchup, or in the sideboard for this matchup. Cards I like less. I don't think Library of Alexandria is good. I also think that, we can shade both of our basic lands. And go down to 12 lands. And we're bringing in the red lands not only because Pyroblast, because it makes all our fetches find all our lands, whereas before Scalding Tarn cannot find basic Swamp, which almost will never come up, but it's going to come up more than Wasteland. We can bring out Hurkyl's Recall, Defense Grid, Mystical Tutor, I think are not very good cards in this matchup. I do think Time Twister is fine. I was previously boarding it out, but I think that's wrong. And I think this is the deck that I want to submit post-board in the mirror, and I feel pretty good about it. So we'll see. Yeah, I think that sounds keep. It's not that fast, but we have a, we have a duress and could vamp. We actually can win on turn 2 depending on what we draw. All right. Ooh, they can probe into it. We might just be dead on turn 1 here. They have a very similar hand to us, it looks like, because this is kind of like what our hand was, but they had a Mox Jet, which would have made this hand way better. They just got Ancestral Recall. Okay. We're not dead yet. More likely dead next turn. Let's go ahead and just lead with Probe. Preordain, 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 Ponder Duress. Okay. Well, I'm going to take the Duress. Is that true? Could also Brainstorm. I don't really need to Duress this turn. So I think Brainstorming is better. Oof, big miss. Okay, now we're in kind of a bad spot. Well, I think this land is the worst card in our hand, and the Vamp is likely the best card. So we're going to hope that we survive a full turn cycle, which 2 full turn cycles, which seems fairly unlikely, but that's okay. Kind of a risky Brainstorm. I was thinking the Brainstorm was good because it let me hide the Vamp on top of my deck, but since Vamp's a top deck tutor, it's not like Demonic Tutor or Dark Petition. It actually doesn't really work in the same way, because this is a play pattern that I have from Legacy where I feel pretty confident turn 1 Brainstorming because it lets me hide a card anyways so they get their Duress. But the problem here is I would much rather would have Vamped for something that I could cast, and then they can't Duress it. So I think that was actually a pretty big misplay on my end. I think they'll probably either just take Duress or Power Blast here. I imagine the Duress is the better of the two, but yeah. So you'll see I make a lot of mistakes, I think, based on just Legacy heuristics that I have. Which is good. It's good to slow down and really think about why I'm doing the things I do, because sometimes when I'm commentating or talking through my plays or whatever, I talk a little bit too fast. And don't really fully formulate my sentences, as you'll notice. It's okay. They have another Duress here? Or are we just dead somehow? That'd be crazy. Yeah, alright. Well, gonna pass. What's better to get here? Sadistic Sacrament's the easy answer. But is there a way that we can win with Yawgmoth's instead? So we get Yawgmoth, because then this would play around them having drawn a counterspell. So if we get Sadistic Sacrament... Oh shoot, I should have fetched first. Well, they're going to Duress my Power Blast anyways, is what I was thinking, but obviously a mistake. Well, now they could take my Cabal Ritual since I can't cast the Power Blast. I'm just going to get Sadistic Sacrament. I think that's pretty likely to win us the game. Big punt on my end, though. Take Soul Ring. We might just be dead then. Seems unlikely with 2 Preordains and a Ponder in their hand, but... Yeah, we know 3 of the 4 cards in their hand. Yeah, I really wish I would have fetched first. The top deck tutors are just so weird. They're so much different than other Magic cards I'm used to playing with. Oh, they have Sadistic Sacrament. kind of annoying that well, not annoying. I just told everyone to play that card, and now people are playing it. And it makes the mirror way harder. I'm just kidding. I don't really care if my opponent plays it. Like, it's in the deck for a reason. I was going to do it to my opponent. It's kind of interesting that if you board in the empty and the Blightsteel, you can force a draw. I mean, I shared the deck list for a reason, so obviously I don't care very much if people sad sack me. This is a good hand. Two mana away from Sadistic Sacramenting my opponent, so this card is probably just actually bad. My logic was that it could bounce Bolas Citadel. And just gonna focus on the game now. Some people fetch to thin first here. I think that's wrong though. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and just take their Yawgmoth's Well. That card is like so powerful to have in your hand. Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, like I said, a mana short. We needed to draw Lotus or Dark Ritual there to win outright, but we didn't. Take Yawgmoth's Will. I'll cast Preordain. Oops. I don't know how to turn off notifications for Reddit, but sometimes I get them. I think that's their 6-card hand, yeah. So they might be able to find a... they could win. There's draws they could have that win, so we'll see. Like Tolarian Academy would be a good draw here. They drew Collective Brutality. It's also a good one. Now I'm pretty far behind. My opponent's extremely far ahead on mana and cards, like inter-card selection, so. Top bottom, which is a little scary. Play this out. Don't want to let them know that I drew this. Could represent Pyroblast or something, but I think I'm just dead here. Not much you can do, though. I think I had a good keep. It was 1 mana away from winning, and then I had a duress, but my opponent ended up drawing a discard spell. But they had a lot of looks at it, so... Oh. That was a good draw. Hopefully they don't go Dark Ritual, Sadistic Sacrament here. Although, they can do that next turn, regardless. So I have 1 turn to draw something that interacts. That's something. Alright, I'm not going to play my land first in case of Downtown Academy. Could punish me, but I think it's correct. So I can tinker for Citadel here. Seems like it's probably correct to do. With a land drop left, I'm pretty likely to win from that position, but not 100%, but... Alright, we'll play our land. I found it's a 6 sacrament. Well, that does something. I don't need to bounce land. Target my opponent. So I'm imagining they're just playing my list. The Tendrils is in their hand. Okay. I think I'm still pretty likely to win from this position, but so we can take their Yogg-Will, their Sad Sec. They left in Hurkyl's Recall, which is interesting. Could bounce. It's kind of probably the same thing as I did, where it can bounce this. The Baby Nara playing my exact list then. So Yawgmoth's Will, Sadistic Sacrament, Bolus of Citadel. Other non-Tendrils ways that are pretty good here. And then if we can duress Tendrils at this turn, we'll also win, so do that. Yeah, we just already win. If you can play Bolus of Citadel with a land drop, you're like just so likely to win the game. I don't even need to do that. I'll just go get Tendrils of Agony. Actually, I'm going to try and win with Bolus of Citadel. Maybe I'm not able. Maybe I don't need to do that. Yeah, they had the Tendrils in their hand. Okay. Well, I'm just going to cast Tendrils. I got pretty lucky with that Time Twister Rip. Very nice opponent. Cool. We'll be back for the next round.